Hi, I'm Shelly with Gilbert Marketplace, and I'm going to do a tutorial on this foam board. did one on how to paint it. I also have done one on how to cut it. And now I'm going to do one on how to attach it. Everyone's just asking different questions, so I wanted to be thorough on how I do this procedure. What you'll need is your foam board. I have already cut these all. That was in the last tutorial. These are 10-inch, and what I'm trying to accomplish with this is going to be a shutter. So I need 10 inches, 3 of these stacked together. So people asked how we would go about that. So people said, will it melt, this sort of thing, because it is foam board, and I'm sure you probably could melt it if you had a problem. So let's just say I have like one of the bad pieces that a chunk came out of, and that does happen. But I want to put that on the bottom, and then we're just going to use a little bit of glue, and you'll want to make sure that your corners are good, not outrageously packed, because we don't want it to squeeze out of it. And then we will kind of slide them together and kind of mash it so that it grips real well. So those two are bonded together, and then I'm going to put on my top. Now, when you're using this glue gun, this is a great glue gun, but it does get super hot, and so you don't want to touch it. Otherwise, you may get burned. My daughter got that experience yesterday. So we want to, again, put it on there. I like to push it on a straight surface, and that will give it a nice solid bond. Now this is pretty thick, and it's not bending, you know. I'm sure if I wanted to force it, I could, you know, bend it, but it's pretty firm. And that's going to be one of my crossbars here for my shutter. Now I will do the same for the bottom half. Again, just take and apply a little bit glue, making sure that we're getting the corners, because that's obviously going to be where the stress point is. And we will apply that by just kind of rubbing them back and forth and pushing down on the solid surface so I'm getting one good straight edge. Okay, and we will do, again, the same for this top piece. You can actually see this is getting so hot that it's actually bubbling, but it's not burning my foam board or anything of that nature. Okay, so this one seems to be a little bit longer. I may just take my scissor and just trim that down just a little bit, as you can see there, just to make that nice and straight. Like I said, if it's short underneath a little bit, you're not going to really see that anyway. So that piece is going to go down at the bottom here. Instead of me reaching all the way across, we're going to put that like right there. And then I would do the same on this process. You'll just do a little bit in the corners, not too crazy much, just because, like I said, we don't want it going out, nobody getting burned or anything of this nature. But you do want a good amount so that it does bond nicely. Now these, it's best to kind of put your fingers down at the end, and this, and like I said, you can kind of like slide it a little, and then you'll want to push down to make sure that we have at least one straight edge. So this, like I said, really bonds pretty good. Now I will say there's some controversy on these glue sticks. I will say this high temp glue stick, the thicker ones, are gonna be better than your dollar store glue. There is a difference. I live here in Arizona. It gets super hot. People say you can't use hot glue because it won't stay together, because it will literally melt outside. Speaking of that, it's gonna be 120 tomorrow. So we definitely want to use a quality glue. You know, dollar store does carry it, and I'm not saying I don't use it for many crafts, but for a good bond, it may be not for this project is good. Okay, so now that stack's done, that stack's done. We're just gonna finish this one stack here. And a little goes, like I said, a long way. That's the other good thing about using more of a quality glue. A little bit on those corners so we don't miss those. And we will stack that, like I said, grabbing that in, pushing it down together. This is getting a real good solid bond. Okay, and my last piece right here. So one glue stick basically has bonded all my 3 thick pieces. Now for me, let's get those corners. I will then paint, going back to the paint technique that we had, I will paint this. There is no need for me to paint each of these layers. I hate wasting product, you know, why waste our money? We will do the edges and paint that, and then we will paint that main board. So this main board was a 16-inch board, and I left it the length it is, which is 30. And then these are 3 inches, and they are also 30 inches. So that will set right like that. And then these are 3 inches, I'm sorry, 10 inches, 3 thick. That gives me my whole frame. But before I bond these down, I will want to paint underneath. When I make my shutter, you're obviously not going to see it. But in case you do, I probably will do that, because I will want to paint these edges, and then these will all be placed and also glued down to give an illusion. And you want to make sure that the sides, the best sides are facing up, but this will give the illusion of a shutter. And we'll push this in real tight and glue that together. So that, like I said, you can see it's not 100% perfect, but once you get the paint on and it looks wood like, you won't notice that as much. This will be, I'm going to do it in some grays and whites, so this should turn out really good, and I will show you guys our finished product on the next tutorial. Again, it's Shelly with Gilbert Marketplace, and if you could sprinkle my videos, follow me, subscribe, push the bell, it will notify you when I upload my next video. And if anyone has anything they want to see special, if you can place it in the comments, I will look at that and see if I can help you further. Thanks again, and have a great afternoon.